Hello! Those of you who have been here for a while will know that I set myself the task at the start of the year of reading one short story collection every month. I write short stories, but I find them quite difficult, especially in collections, to read all out because I like a larger narrative to get stuck into. So I've been trying to read short story collections this year. I have kept up with my goal and I've read some okay ones. I've had some 4 stars, I've had some not so good, but this week I had my first 5-star short story collection that I felt I should rant to you about because I don't actually think it's that well known, and this is Frederica Tarrant's Broken Things. This is published by Salt. They are a wonderful independent publisher. I will link them down below. They also published Kirsty Logan's The Rental Heart, which I bought at the same time as this, but they've got some titles on their website that look really fascinating. Now, if we go on the fact that I judge how well I liked a short story collection by how many tabs I have put in there, there are a lot of tabs in here. I tab all the stories that I really want to revisit. The short stories in here are very short. They don't go over 5 pages. I think that's the longest one in here. Now, I think firstly this really suited me because I like a shorter story that you can just snap through. But it was the writing in this that really did it for me. It's basically about the bizarre in the world. There's stories in here about a woman who falls in love with a television. God is his baby in one of the stories. There's a story about how it is to be dead. There's a story about a world where the sun doesn't rise, and just all kinds of fantastical things. The first story in this was actually what really gripped me. It's called Darling. And it's about a lady who finds a dog that has been run over and takes it home and almost kind of nurtures it back to health, but ends up covering it in paper mache, and she's just got this dog that whimpers in this paper mache case. And it's, at times this is quite difficult to read. There are some incidences of not so nice stuff happening to animals, but there's only about 2 times where I was like, oh, the writing is just spectacular. I thoroughly enjoyed this. There is not much writing to a page either, and it's not overly thick. I literally got through this in one evening. This was my Friday evening treat to myself, and it was a complete treat. It's absolutely fascinating. I've never enjoyed short stories to this degree, and I think the writing was really, really what did this for me. So I'm going to read you some bits because obviously, as always, there's no better way to describe than to read you some things out. Now, the first part that really grabbed me when I was flicking through this is the first line of one of the stories called Anatomy. Inside me is a secret. I am keeping it calm, soothing its splinters and bones among my intestines in a warm soup of blood. When I walk, it balances perfectly. Anyone who's seen my first line video will know that I am a sucker for a good first line, and there are so many in here. She really gets what I love, where it's really a punchy first line that grabs you straight off. I love lines like that. There's loads of them in here. But other bits I will read you are not necessarily first lines, although this is a first line as well. This is in Scream. This is the opening. After you're dead, the world becomes like gelatine, made of thickened edges and little more, the smudged blueprints of trees and houses and cars. When you're dead, the world is translucent at best, and you can see at last to the rotten core of things. Trudy can see right through to the rotten core of things. So, amazing. And my personal favourite part, which is nearer the end, it's in a story called Witness. And I didn't think it could get much better, and then I read this. King's Road was astounded. Without my radio, I felt it the moment I stepped onto the pavement. It was horrified, trembling like a flat, concrete leaf. A police van drove past me, dead slow, and I saw a fox who flashed his eyes from behind a road grip bin, but apart from that, I was alone. Every tread of my feet made the roadside flinch, although I was trying to go gently, and it was getting worse the further along the road I went. The jittering pavement was driving me nuts, and I was miserable as I turned the corner into Franklin Street. Wow, that is just only an example, but all of the stories have bits in that where you're just absolutely taken away. I haven't highlighted every single story in here, but all of them I could have highlighted, and I ended up being quite ruthless. But I think I might just take my tabs out and just love the whole thing because they were all excellent, and I would want to revisit every single one. It says on the back that Frederica Tarrant has actually suffered from psychosis, and I think she uses that a lot, and I think it kind of gives her a much more poetic edge, and that's what I love about this. I definitely think so many more people should be reading this. I think it's got something stupid like 30 ratings on Goodreads, but it is phenomenal. I've read 6 short story collections this year so far. None of them have equalled this, even slightly. So please, please, if you like poetical, stunning writing, you should read this book. Bye.